Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I would like to invite you to listen Monday through Friday right here on Spaced Out Radio. 3 hours a night of the top stories with the top guests, ranging topics from UFOs to ETs, ghosts to Sasquatch, and everything in between. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So come on in and take a listen at spacedoutradio.com. Spaced Out Radio will take you out of this world.
Approach Sky 6316, 8.8 for 6,000.
Got 6316, North Gale approach, going to maintain 3,000, number 1 for the right.
3,000, Sky 6316.
Redwood 811, going to maintain 4,000. Airport's open to box 1.
We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over. We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over.
6 Roman Carefly, runway heading, runway 5. Let's take off.
Check.
And we're ready for takeoff. Sit back, relax. It's time to travel with Cosmic Passport. Spaced Out Weekend presents Elizabeth Anglin's Cosmic Passport. A 1-hour warm-up of news, stories, thoughts, and ideas to captivate your mind. You can follow us at spacedoutradio.com.
Now 20 years have passed us by, and we look back and count the time, burning like the summer sun when the world was young. Silently staring from the ground, and 7 trumpets wait to sound.
And now, here's Our Lady of Flight, Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio Weekend. This is Elizabeth Anglin, your host of Cosmic Passport, which is normally paranormal news and views every Saturday and Sunday night before James Tyson comes on with our interview for the evening. Well, tonight we're going to do something different because it's Halloween and we know psychic mediums and we know Bigfoots and big feet, and we know aliens and all sorts of fun cryptids, and we like to think about Ogopogo. So tonight what we're going to do is we have invited in our first-class, top-notch psychic medium, Joanna Banka, who has, over the past year, been reading for us and our listeners on Two Mediums and a Large. And Joanna is going to be looking at, with her guide, all things paranormal. So this is direct from Spirit, paranormal news and views in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to let you know who we are. We are spacedoutradio.com. This is Spaced Out Radio Weekend with Elizabeth Anglin, the host of Cosmic Passport, and James Tyson, the host of Spaced Out Radio Weekend. And you can find us at spacedoutradio.com. You can also find us on Revolution Radio, on iTunes, on Spreaker. Basically, we're live. We are not just in one nationwide. We are 2 nations at least. Well, no, 3. We've got Australia, Canada, a bunch of other places. We're online. We're all over the world. We're spread thin, like, peanut butter and marmalade. I don't know why I said that. But look for us. If you're listening on Revolution Radio, go to... And they're not tonight, okay. We've had problems with Skype, so we apologize that you can't listen at this time on Revolution Radio. Everybody has had problems with Skype. It's not just us, so we're not going to take responsibility for that. We're just going to stick our tongue out at Skype for the night. But also, you can get on our chat room on Facebook, which is Spaced Out Radio SOR Space Travelers, or go on Spreaker on spacedoutradio.com and get on the chat room. If you like our show, think of becoming and do become a SOR Space Traveler by clicking on the link on our homepage. This is, yes, I'd like to be an SOR Space Traveler. We have lots of fun stuff for $5 a month. Archives, news, views, free swag, and we treat you like family. And we're not going to say how we treat our family, but we treat you like family because we love you. That's why. So without further ado, we're going to invite Joanna and her guide and James Tyson to come in so we can ask and get going on the direct-to-spirit questions about all things paranormal that we wonder about. Aliens, Bigfoot, Dogman, alien abductions, contact, different races. You know, what's going on with me? What's going on with you? All of that good stuff. And James, can you explain how it's going to work this evening? Can you explain it?
I sure can. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And one of the things that I found over the last year with Joanna appearing on our show, actually her show, Two Mediums and a Large, Joanna has grown quite a bit. Joanna came in, still is one of the top 25 psychics in the area that we live here on the West Coast. And in her readings, more and more has come through from, and it's not Uncle Fred, and it's not Grandpa, and it's not your spirit guide coming through, but all of a sudden Joanna, and poor Joanna's, it's hitting her right between the eyes. All of a sudden something comes through. For example, last Sunday, she described me as a light being, a large blue guy with a shiny bald head, and hey, hold on, that's what I look like. But it's an amazing, it's a completely change in direction, or I shouldn't say a change in direction, but a new direction added. And this has all come with what Joanna has explained to us as a change in her spirit guide, which begs the question that I have, and why I wanted this to go on, is over the last 5 to almost 10 years, the public, have been quite comfortable with whatever ghost hunting show and paranormal television and Bigfoot this and ghost that. And the spirit mediums and the psychic mediums who have always been here and doing their job are now basically coming out of the closet. Yes, they help the police. Yes, they been working in the government. Jeannie Borglund, long conversation with her yesterday. She actually worked for the U.S. federal government and finding people who were kidnapped in Europe. One of the good friends of hers, when she was working for the government, was a jaunty gentleman who was named Werner von Braun, who was the Nazi scientist building the V1 and V2 rockets, and was brought over and working for NASA. And she was connected, and we kind of bounced this back and forth off of her. And of course, she's been kind of connecting with aliens for a long time, as well as doing work for police and things. And I've got lots of time for Jeannie because she's got a track record a mile long. It's amazing the work she's done in her government work, the police work. And all of a sudden, she went off a couple of weeks ago. We added an extra hour to the show just to cover her extraterrestrial contact in California and her meeting with ETs, some of them, at least one of them, driving a vehicle with U.S. government plates on it. So honestly, guys, I'm waiting for this show to get shut down any second now. But I'm wondering if there is preparation. I wonder if we've been given this information. Psychics are communicating freely. They're not forced underground. We are getting a little more numbed to the idea of life after death, haunted energies, etc. Now I wonder with this shift to being able to, I want to say channel, but to actually have back and forth contact with ETs through a guide, in Joanna's case, or with Jeannie Borgen with just them showing up. I wonder if this is a shift. They're kind of checking off their checklist. Okay, humans now are starting, X% are now accepting there's something happens after death, another energy, whatever. Now, let's give them this one. Let's see what percentage of people out there are going to start believing in extraterrestrial activity, not only out in space, life in space, but interaction on Earth. So I'm wondering, it's just the big, and that's me being a policeman going, I wonder where this is going. Why are people who are sensitive to the other side now be given this information? So I know Joanna was talking to Elizabeth here about a month ago or more, and Joanna Englund came on and said, yeah, I had a hair sent to me by my friend in Colorado or wherever it was, and before the question could actually get finished, Joanna said, I just Bigfoot. That's just what I got.
Yeah, Sasquatch. Yep.
Yeah, and that was, we weren't even, like, how did she know we weren't going horsehair, my doll's hair, my kid's hair, you know, she just got the Sasquatch. And then I asked, well, if we could get DNA off of this little strand, what would it come back to? And Joanna said, a species not known to man. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, somebody's just coming through right now, and they're asking you, do I know I'm not connected to Revolution Radio? Yes, I'm aware of that, because when we call them, the call gets knocked back. It appears on my screen that the call's failed because they haven't updated their Skype. So apologize. That's why we're not hooked up to Revolution Radio. But anyway, that's what I was thinking. So I thought I'd ask Joanna if she would come through. Now, you can ask a question, but there are guidelines. Joanna has been told by her guide she will not answer questions such as, was the tragedy of 9/11 an inside government job? And frankly, she's told me the answer to that, which is what both Joey Giggles and I both knew was the right answer. But there are people out there making a lot of money and doing the talk circuit with whatever spooky con they're going to, and getting a lot of air miles out of this and writing books because of conspiracy theories. So in the long run, that's not good for Joanna to go up against that much money and somebody trying to ridicule her. So we don't go there. And I'm guessing with this list of questions I do have, there may be some stuff in there that her guide is basically going to say, yeah, we're not going there. It's kind of like when you go to a psychic and your great-grandmother comes through and they're telling you about the jewelry that was left in the drawer, and you have a question about the cat, and then you throw the question out to Gran. So, what is God really like? There's some rules on the other side. They're not going to get into that. That's up to us to learn the hard way. But we can. You have to understand there are some questions that Joanna's probably not going to get to, and it's strictly not her fault. She is only the channel, and we've been through this a lot. The medium is not the message. in this case, the medium just provides the funnel from source to us. So she's not really thinking about where this is coming from. She's just answering the question as it comes. And we have some good ones. We have the classics. I know we're not going to get into... We might get into some history. I'm not going to go I might or may or may not go J. Edgar Hoover. Not J. Edgar Hoover, but, some missing gangster's body somewhere, but who knows? We'll see how it goes. And if you have a question, come into our chat room either on Skype or in the SOR Travelers Club on Facebook. No, sorry, not Skype, but Spreaker. If you're in at Spaced Out Radio Show on Spreaker in the Spreaker studio. If you don't know what that is, go to our Facebook page, my Facebook page, Spaced Out Radio's Facebook page, and click on the link, and it should take you to Spreaker. But please, if you have a question, hold off on your questions for a little bit, because I think we've got a crap load to talk about. And what I don't have, I think Elizabeth is going to cover off. But if you have something, type it in the chat room in capitals, and we will get to it. Do you think I covered everything, Elizabeth?
I do, and I have a list. I have a list of alien-related questions that I can rapid fire.
Okay. Remember rapid firing to a medium, because there's got to be a lot of breathing and quiet. And I have some cryptid ones just to drive everybody insane. And I've got some questions already in the Spreaker chat room. And I'll get to the spirit guide one about. I'm being asked who's the one who told me your spirit guides are aliens. I've had a couple of people. Derek White, Skycloud. I've had, I think, my first psychic spirit medium, Jen Nash. I think Joanna told me. I just kind of nod and then accept it by now. So, Joanna, how are you this evening?
I am good, and let me just preface this that what we're going to talk about is completely new to me. This is not an area I've been into. This is not something I've ever dealt with. It's not something that I deal with on a regular basis. This is a completely different and new area for me. So I'm a little bit nervous about this because I'm like an infant that's going to be faced with entering the world, and I don't even know that I can walk.
Yeah, you're just an infant.
So I'm just putting it out there, and my guide said, when I said to him, okay, well, do you have any advice for me? He says, yes, have fun. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. But I actually do have a being here with me that's aside from Rob. Rob is the gentleman. Can I call you gentleman? Call me a guide. Okay. Rob is a guide that has entered my life probably about 2 or 3 months ago. But there's also a being which... I'm trying to ask her. This is a female, and this is where it gets interesting. She entered my life about 6 months ago. I see her on occasion. She's a blue lady with big eyes. So she is not your regular human-looking person. She looks, I guess, like an alien would look. I don't know. But she is blue. She's completely blue. And she's not necessarily my spirit guide per se, but she says to me that she is a bit of a coach for me because of what is coming next with regards to my evolution in my own career in a spiritual realm. So she just came through a few minutes ago, so now I have 2.
Nice. I'm just kind of going through my list of questions here, and I think we should begin. Me first, because it's my show.
Let's just do it.
Okay.
Fine.
So, we had talked about Bigfoot, and we talked about some aliens. In fact, that blue alien, or the blue guide you have, that sounds like the description you had with me. So, of me as an alien.
What I saw with you was similar, though her coloring seems to be a little bit deeper blue than what I saw with you. Your coloring was more silvery blue.
Cool. So, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, do they exist?
They're saying to me, I'm going to ask Rob here. He says to me that there are species that do exist that are not known to men. However, he says the term Bigfoot or Sasquatch is for the most part man-made. So interestingly enough, he's saying to me that it is a combination of both, signifying there is something that we are not, that is in existence that we have not identified yet as something that is a specific animal. But the idea or the ideology of a man that looks like a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch, he says that is, for the most part, man-made. Silence.
Yeah, because it was hard. It wasn't a yes or no. It's
That's how they talk, which drives me nuts.
Okay. What's a short drive? No, I got follow-ups. Stop it. I'm a policeman. I have usually 8 follow-ups to one question. So the being that we humans call by these names, does that being exist on Earth?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that Go ahead.
He's saying to me that these he calls them animal-like creatures or these animal-like beings. They often appear most frequently around mountainous or mountain areas.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now is that true? I don't know. I have completely no knowledge of this.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, my follow-up question, once we got the yes, Your Honor, is, and thank you, Rob, do these beings, are they strictly terrestrial? In other words, are they born...
They're intergalactic species.
Intergalactic species. Do these species, as existing in the wooded areas and in the mountains, let's take one that's 20 years old, will that species travel intergalactically or remain on Earth for its whole life?
He's showing me that the main purpose of this particular species coming into the physical existence here is for the purpose of breeding.
Okay.
Breeding with species that are here on Earth. And then he's showing me, once that is accomplished, he's actually showing me these beings, as I call them, enter what looks to me like a ship, and it goes away. So it sounds like they're leaving.
So they actually leave this planet under a mechanical function.
They leave this planet with an assistance of other beings, yes.
With an assistance of other
beings. And he calls these beings sophisticated beings.
Okay, so a higher being.
Sophisticated beings, yeah.
Well, that's darn interesting. Okay, Elizabeth, go ahead.
I think she just hung up because I heard the phone click.
Okay, well, I'll give her a shout back.
She's not there.
Oh, that was alien-like. Okay, we're calling Elizabeth back. I think either that or she just fell over in her chair. Do we know where how can I phrase this so I can talk to Rob like he talks to you? The beings that are more sophisticated, where did they come from?
He shows me an image of what looks like space. And this space, as I travel through this space, there are planets where I see all around me. And he's showing me that these beings travel in between those planets, but they don't necessarily reside in one particular planet per se.
Oh, they're more transient then.
And I actually heard the word, he says, you can use the term travelers.
The travelers.
Does that exist?
I don't know. Elizabeth?
Well, the word travelers it's not common, but that's my understanding. So, yeah, that they have rest stops and waysides and planets that they have multiple planets that they can go to, but I rarely have seen a place that they call home.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
And
interesting. The other thing he was saying to me about the beings that come to these mountains for the purpose of breeding. He's showing me and saying to me that it's almost like they come in disguise in order to blend in with what we would call an animal apparition or something that would be seen as an animal. And this is for the purpose of disguise, but the purpose of it is for breeding.
Okay.
Does that have to do with just the plain old gravity, with needing gravity to breed correctly? To grow and develop?
He says to me that at this point it is at experimental stages, whatever that means.
Okay, got it.
I hope you can explain what it is that I'm saying, because I have no clue what is coming out of my mouth. None. Absolutely none. I'm just going to put it out there.
Are they actually... they're not interbreeding with humans, are they? They're interbreeding with another species that's here? That was a bad question.
No, I got it. The breeding is not... Interbreeding is not with humans. It is with animals. Weird. It's with animals.
Would that be like a bear?
Well, actually, interestingly enough, I just saw the vision of what you said to me last time, like the man dog.
Oh, Dogman?
Or a bear that has whatever you call it, mange. That's the vision that I was shown for whatever reason.
Okay, because that was where we're going to go after this. Do you have some more Bigfoot questions? I bet you do, Elizabeth.
No, actually, that pretty much answers my Bigfoot question.
And I'm actually asking him, okay, do females come? Do males come? Because if males come, they can't breed because they're not females. And what I'm being shown is that males do come for the purpose of breeding, but the breeding that takes place is not the way we humans understand. Therefore, it doesn't necessarily fall into the category of male-female. One can carry an offspring and the other one can't. He says it's different.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's almost like it's interchangeable. Weird. Wow.
Yeah,
that's strange.
That is very cool. Now, just for us humans, if we were to encounter one of these beings, what would we call it? Is there a name? Do they have a name from their planet? What should we call it?
I actually heard the word echo. Echo.
Like echo or echo?
Echo.
Echo. Something.
Echo.
I'm going to ask him for spelling. Hang on. Yeah. EKKO. Echo. Echo.
Echo.
Oh,
that's really strange.
It may be strange, but we've just added a new word to the Bigfoot Sasquatch phenomena. Thank you very much, Rob.
I asked him the question, what's the purpose of breeding with animals? And he said it's to do with adaptability.
Okay. And that would be adaptability to their original planet?
No, what do you mean?
Oh, no, adaptability.
He says to me that the way the animals are able to adapt here, they're looking for that adaptability. It's almost like to hone that skill or DNA or whatever it is. It's about survival, yes. Adaptability and survival.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Wow. That's nuts.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Well, no, it's part of a biological premise that when you have a wild population, whether it's a wild population of corn or oats or people or animals, if something has been left wild, it has a tremendous amount of genetic variability and adaptability. And this planet has been, except for some tampering with, a wild planet. So people, animals, plants, we are like a seed bank. We are not just alien star seeds. We are the seed bank for adaptability for other races, for other planets. You would come to the seed bank and find what you need here. He's showing me that the adaptability, the aspect of adaptability that is being looked at has very strong roots in survival. So it's something to do with survival. Yeah, and also ego. This is a heavy ego planet, but ego is important for survival. If you have a sense of the individual I and being separate, you can be said to have ego. And a lot of times on the spiritual path we say, oh, I have to get over my ego. But actually, in terms of the viability of a physical being or a physical group of beings, in order to hit tougher environments and survive, you need that ego for survivability. You need individuality to protect yourself. How does it work with animals, though? Because they don't breed with humans. They breed, according to him, they breed with animals. And my understanding is that ego does not exist with animals, or does it? Oh, it so totally does. Yeah, that's a misunderstanding. I'm sorry, Joanna. Okay. No. Yeah. No. That's why I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I talked to a lot of egotistical animals.
We just had a question from the chat. Just to clarify, these echoes aren't here to breed with a similar species on Earth, that all Bigfoot, all Sasquatch are actually here to breed and then leave. There are no Earth-based Sasquatch. He says no. No. That's why there's such difficulty with actually being able to find something substantial. Like remains. Remains or what looks like a shelter home, whatever that would signify there is a being that lives here that is not, a wolf. Okay. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Because that kind of covers off that. And I think Joe, you might have got here a little bit late, but no, they don't breed with humans. No. Only with like literally a bear. Yeah, animals. Animals. Yeah, the a bigger mammal, which in this area would be bears. Yeah, it is bigger animals. I'm glad you said that, because it's not like squirrels. No, that would hurt something fierce. You're not going to stick that in there. Squirrel Man show. Yeah. And how many squirrel men does it take to take down an echo? So I'm guessing because they only exist in, I shouldn't say they only exist, but where there is large mammals, like in the Pacific Northwest, we have bears like other people have sparrows. They're all over the place here. And they stink. So when you get another stinky big hairy thing, okay. And see, with that, Joanna, and thank you, Rob, that explains not finding remains, not finding a den, not finding a child. That covers everything. In First Nations lore, if you actually saw one of these, it was deemed to be a gift. Oh wow! Is there now? You know what? I don't have a question. I just lost it right there. I'm gonna. He said to me that though they do not appear as being overly sophisticated, these are beings that are quite evolved. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But for the purpose of fitting in with the environment and what they're here to accomplish, they do not appear to look
sophisticated. But he says that is not the case at all. They're quite evolved.
They're quite evolved, but they need help by the travelers to travel to our planet and go back to wherever they exist.
It's almost like he's showing me a being takes on a disguise in order to accomplish something on this particular planet. And in order for that accomplishment to be successful, it needs to fit in a specific way with its environment. So it's almost like a suit is being put on, a disguise.
Okay. So
in other words, when they go back, they don't necessarily look the same way. It is only for the purpose of fitting in
on
here,
Earth. Okay.
On Earth as a disguise. Yeah.
Can Rob tell us what they would look like? Hold on. What they would look like once they.
Yeah,
take
I know the question.
Off.
I can read your mind. I know the question.
I hate that.
Okay. So he's. Okay, this is really bizarre. Okay, I'm totally perplexed right now. Hang on. He's showing me a vision of. This is so crazy. Of what looks like a mantis.
A mantis.
Like an insect. Like, okay, this is so weird. That's what he's showing me.
Okay. And for people who follow extraterrestrials, that's not really way out there, Joanna.
So it actually exists?
No,
mantis
it actually
beings
does exist.
Yeah, mantis beings do exist.
Oh God.
They do but here's the thing. So I'm gonna ask him, and so he can show you.
Mm-hmm.
Can he look at Jonas, my spirit operator, and tell you what he looks like?
Does he have 4 legs? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Because he just said to me he's 4-legged. Oh my God! What have I got myself into?
I guess you're not ready. So alternately, Jonas will appear as a mantis, a higher, like a 9th dimensional mantis, but sometimes he'll appear as a centaur, like a horse with a guy's head. So,
wow.
I guess he picked the second one. But, mantises have legs too. But, the thing is that I have heard of a group of mantises that they're so long ago they lost their planet that they just move in between portals. They move in between worlds all the time. Mm-hmm. And they don't have a planet. So this kind of reaffirms some of that if they are that kind of being that they are,
and maybe that's why they're looking for the adaptability component.
Yeah, and the centaur thing might be literal. I mean, the centaur thing, in a way, if they're breeding with animals, who knows?
Yeah.
You could get.
When he showed me the face of what I heard was the word mantis, I was swayed by the vision, because the vision I associate with is something that is not overly pleasant in this human experience. But he actually said to me, he said, "Don't be afraid." And what I felt from this particular vision was that there was a lot of gentleness, interestingly enough. So the vision completely did not fit what I was feeling. It was almost like the opposite.
The interior.
And there was kindness. Okay. Yeah.
Dave Scott had a mantis in the bathroom in his house where he used to live. He's like, I said, "What? You have a praying mantis?" No, it's a mantis being. It visited me in the bathroom there. Oh, great! I'm not going to use the shitter in your house. Hey, we may end up coming back to this, but we will come back, because we will be talking about extraterrestrials. But I want to move on to Dogman. Mm-hmm. Rob, what is this thing people on Earth, or people refer to as Dogman.
I hear the words. It's an experiment gone bad.
Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up? Did he?
I have one. Stop it.
Oh, come on.
Come on. It'll be quick. Was that a human experiment?
I'm sweating over here.
Was that a human experiment, or by another set of beings?
No, this was and he uses the word experiment in quotation marks because apparently that is the closest word that he can use to associate whatever that was. But it actually doesn't mean necessarily a fuck up. Excuse me.
Oh no.
Sorry, I had to bleep it out. Sorry. So no, this was it human? No, it wasn't. It was, again, it was an experiment that went, quote unquote, not the way it was intended to go. And this was through, again, travelers, those who come here for a specific purpose to extract DNA, and then they leave with whatever they have in their toolbox. So do you want me to follow up and ask why it has gone bad?
If you could answer why, yes.
Okay. I'm not getting this clear, but something about the animal coming full term and it was too late.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything more other than that's what I got.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if I can get pictures, and I'm not. The only thing I keep seeing is what looks like a bear, the face of a bear, but then the body looks hairless, and I feel like there's something wrong with the animal. I don't know if it's given birth, but it's in pain. There's something not right.
Yeah, they screw up. Well, I think when you start monkeying around with genetics, if something gets to a certain term, it'd be healthy up to a certain point, and then its organs could start breaking down. I'm talking to Rob like he's my buddy.
Yeah,
Rob, is Dogman something that we humans must fear?
Not at all.
Okay. All right.
He says they just don't look very appealing. That's all.
Oh, I dated one then. Hey, Rob, the other one I have is something that was called Mothman.
Mm-hmm. You want me to ask him if it's real or fiction?
Please, Mothman.
Okay. He's saying to me that it's an apparition that comes to those who fear. But the idea of a Mothman or something existing as an entity Mothman is a myth.
Okay. Wow. But if it's an entity coming to those who fear, then it would exist to those people.
To those people, yes. But actually, that's an interesting question. Let me just see if I can pull that one apart. Can you help me understand? He says, those who fear find themselves in a predicament, and when faced with something they cannot understand, they need to give it a label or assign a meaning, hence the word Mothman.
Okay, so these people... All right. Did they see something? They were afraid of it, and they called it Mothman. Is that what I'm getting? They saw something. And
he
gave
calls it
a
an
name.
apparition. He calls it
An
an
apparition.
apparition. And the feeling I get is that it wasn't happy jolly apparition. It has a lot of quote unquote dark quote unquote or negative energies feeling to it. That's the best way that I can describe it.
Wow.
And he's showing me that the way the apparition appears to those people, it seems to almost fly into them as opposed to just appear standing.
I see. Okay.
So now I've heard of the idea of Mothmen, but I actually don't know who experiences it, who has experienced it. So I have zero connection to this. So I don't know.
Okay. Going back to the Dogman, there was a question from the Spaced Out Traveler Facebook page. In regards to Dogman, I'm sorry, if this was an experiment, let's say by the travelers, and it went sideways, why would they leave it?
Abandon it,
and on Earth to continue to breed?
He says to me that the animal does not breed; it eventually dies.
So how many would be out there? And okay, first question: when did these experiments start, or when were they done?
I see. 1990s.
1990s.
In the 90s. Yeah.
Which part?
And you asked the question, how many? And I heard thousands.
Thousands? Which part of Earth, if we can even narrow it down to, if we narrow it down to a building, that would be great. Where on Earth were these experiments conducted?
So there's a couple of things I hear. I hear Pacific Northwest, and I also hear Russia. Really?
Yeah.
Russia and the Pacific Northwest.
So that would be here, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of the Dogman sightings are in the east, back east, and in the United States. But who knows? So in the 1990s, Russia and the Pacific Northwest. That's amazing. And again, for a recap, if you're just tuning in, we as humans have nothing to fear from Dogman. It does exist. No. It will die. They cannot breed. And the follow-up question here: how long would Dogman live?
I saw the number 27.
27?
So maybe 27 years.
Yeah, probably.
How long does a bear live? How long does a bear live?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I personally don't know that.
Elizabeth, do you know?
I think it depends on the breed, so I don't feel comfortable answering it. Black bears may live a little less longer than grizzly.
Gee, Joanna, I wonder if there's somebody around you could ask. Rob, how long does a bear live?
You're funny. I'm actually going to... Yeah. That is so funny. He says to you, I'm glad you're finding this funny.
Non-stressful.
How long does a bear live?
She's going to type it in.
Does it poop in the woods?
Not bear, doofus.
Bar. Okay.
How long does a bar live? Okay. See, I'm being shown in my mind around the number of 30. I'm assuming it's 30 years, but I don't trust him. I'm going to look at Google.
I honestly think 30 is right because we've had them in custody. Gee, my police brain is really overactive tonight. We've had them in zoos, which honestly, if you're in a zoo, you're in custody. The poor things. But yeah, we'll have them in zoos for decades.
Now I have a vision of you pulling over a bear for ambling down the street while drunk.
Ew. I'm sorry, sir. You've been stopped for ambling?
Here's what it says. It says 48 lower grizzly bears live anywhere from 20 to 25 years. And what did he say? 27?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
27.
27. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
But the flying bears.
Very interesting.
A follow-up on the cryptid side.
Yes.
We've grown up around the planet here with something called the Loch Ness Monster. That could Rob, do you mind telling us if the Loch Ness Monster did exist?
Is that the thing in the lake?
In Scotland, yes.
Is it in a lake? Because he's showing me something in the lake.
Yeah.
Or in the water? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. It almost looks like, he's showing me a vision of almost looks like a dragon face.
Kind of, yeah. Yep.
A little bit? Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, has like a bump on his back?
Yes.
Okay, so he's showing me something. Let me see. What do you call it again?
Well, we call this a Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
In Scotland.
So I asked him if it exists. He said no. I said, did it ever exist? He said yes.
Did it exist?
He says to me that was a long time ago.
Okay, could you tell me if it was, over 200 years ago?
Now that's interesting. I keep seeing the number 50. Is it 50? What do you mean 50? It's either 1950s or 50 years ago.
Well, that's when they had the pictures, was the 50s. So it would
and the 30s.
Is it? Yeah.
And the 30s. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Which would
Is it of a species that then no longer exists on this planet?
He says for the most part it is the extinct, but he's showing me that there is a reminiscence left of whatever this being was. And he says in few years, and I want to say as long as 20 to 30 years from now, there will be another reappearance or resurgence, that's a weird word, of something that will look somewhat similar that does not fit the description of something that we know.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it's like an offspring or something.
Yeah, did it come from an egg? I guess that's the question. Did it lay eggs, and are there eggs that are left to open?
He's actually showing me what looks like 2 eggs, but he says to me that one is not going to survive. But then I'm going to him, well, then it's a mammal.
No.
Doesn't it have to feed from its mother?
No, it's not a mammal.
No.
Okay.
Eggs are reptilians.
Oh yeah, right, reptilians. Yeah. Sorry,
or
that
birds,
was my brain.
Or birds.
That tells you how much I know. Oh, interesting. Yeah. He says to me, well, that just tells you I'm totally not plugged in.
Yeah.
He says one is not going to survive, and he's showing me that the last known whatever this was actually a female. And then I'm going, okay, well, how did it breed? Like, how did it breed, right?
Carefully.
If it had to have it would have to have a partner.
Not necessarily.
He actually said no, it didn't. No, it did not have a partner. Really?
Yeah. That would be one reason why it would look different. If there's not two, if it's just a one, something that comes about from just the female, it can look different, and that can happen. They found out that can happen.
And there are frogs.
He called that actually breed he called it instinctual breeding.
Yes.
Instinctual breeding. Wow.
There are frogs. Actually, that's what the whole Jurassic Park is based on. They actually, if there wasn't a male, they raised all females in Jurassic Park, and there wasn't a male around, they actually will reproduce. And me as a Mountie and an expert in this kind of stuff, one of the most fantastic plants on Earth is the cannabis plant. And you grow all the females because you want the bud on it. And the dominant female cannabis plant in the room will know she's dominant, and she will change sexes, develop pollen pods, and pollinate everything else in the room if you're not paying attention to those pollen pods. So you heard it here, kids. If you want to grow really good dope, make sure your plants don't turn sex.
Now that's self-sufficient.
That's
adaptability.
Yeah, that is adaptability.
Exactly.
It's amazing adaptability.
Exactly.
And
wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now, Elizabeth, I'm sending you off on a course. Your course now is to get the proper names for all those giants, because I can't pronounce them.
Giants?
You know, the Nephilim and all those ones?
I don't like those, but can I not do that? Because I don't care about those. But I do have...
Yeah, you don't care, but our listener does. Oh.
Well, your listener, Google it and then ask us, because, you know,
okay.
I'm lazy. I'm lazy and I'm here with my dog. So,
okay.
But do I get to do the alien questions? Can I?
You can, as long as you cover off mine. I do have one in regards to the Dogman and its in the failed experiments. Joe's asking from the chat room, are there any other failed alien experiments running around on planet Earth?
Are there any Are there any other F-ups?
Yeah, are there any other... Our luck, it's going to be like a cow or something. Yes,
a cow with two heads. A cow with two heads, okay.
Yeah.
Not at this time, no.
Not at this time. Oh, crepe. So Wednesday, okay, we're coming up to guys. Guys, don't make me pull this car over. We're going to take this quick break, which is actually just my introduction. And when we come back, we're going to get into the ET side of things. So call your friends, get them over here. And tell them, heck, listen to the cryptid side, too. And if you have any cryptid questions that we didn't answer, fire them through. And we'll be back right after you listen to somebody introducing me.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I would like to invite you to listen Monday through Friday right here on Spaced Out Radio. 3 hours a night of the top stories with the top guests, ranging topics from UFOs to ETs, ghosts to Sasquatch, and everything in between. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So come on in and take a listen at spacedoutradio.com. Spaced Out Radio will take you out of this world.
Hi there, this is your psychic medium, Joanna, and I would love it if you would join us every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. With host James Tyson, we'll bring you personal psychic messages on 2 mediums and a large. Questions about love, life, career changes. We would love it if you would come and join us live. Call in and listen in for the experience. Allow us to open the doors to your other side. 2 mediums and a large. Heard only on Spaced Out Weekend at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for news beyond the mainstream news? Head to spacedoutradio.com and check out the SOR Spacewire. This is Spaced Out Radio's Eric Markham, News Director for the SOR Spacewire. Daily, I will bring you intriguing stories and outlandish reports from what's going on around the world. UFO sightings, paranormal activity, conspiracies, alternative health, and so much more. And if you have news, email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Attention Spaced Out Radio listeners. For only $5 a month, you can join Spaced Out Radio Space Travelers. Your membership at spacedoutradio.com will give you access to private fan area on the website, get you a monthly newsletter, draws for monthly swag, and a whole lot more. Sign up today to become a part of the Spaced Out Radio experience.
For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, How can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit. And expect a miracle.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
It's time to go live on Spaced Out Weekend.
13, please. Oh, hi, Kevin. Oh, is that the time? Kevin, my friend, don't you find that watch just a little bit loud? Well, I certainly hope our buddy Bumblefoot is playing when we get there. Oh, you stinky big bundle of hair. I said Bumblefoot, not Bigfoot. Oh, it's going to be a long night.
It's time to head to the 13th floor of the old log cabin for Spaced Out Weekend with James Tyson. You can tweet James at James Tyson SOR. You can find him on Instagram, Spaced Out Weekend, as well as on Facebook. On YouTube, our channel is Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can check out our website, spacedoutradio.com.
Little brother has taken control, shoveling dirt in every hole. Predators to condemn your soul, watching you and watching me. We're all connected but separated, misunderstood and so frustrated. A million armies of one have invaded, watching you and watching me. We live behind glass curtains and act like nothing's wrong. Soon you will belong. I know you're out there somewhere. We've watched you for so long, wait for you to fall. We'll expose you all. I know you're out there somewhere. Watch it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, perched high in his captain's chair, way above the clouds, here's James Tyson.
Welcome back, everybody, and we're continuing with this special episode of Spaced Out Weekend. And just to recap, for those of you who are joining us now, Elizabeth Englund and I have been asking our friend Joanna the Medium about a number of things. And as far as Bigfoot goes, Bigfoot, we have determined, is real name is this real species is Echo, E-K-K-O, Echo. These are only on Earth to breed. They are, in fact, extraterrestrials. They come to Earth. They are very tall. They are in this image of a tall, hairy beast to blend in with the environment they're here to breed in. They then leave. They are asexual, basically. Male, female are mixed, so they can, it's not like a human. They are not any relationship to a man. This is why we don't find a Ness. This is why we don't find remains. They are brought here by a more advanced extraterrestrial race that is basically known as the travelers. They drop them off here, pick them up, and take them to where they have to go. Under that big furry outfit is basically I almost said a bug. I'm sorry. A mantis being. They are mantis beings who come down here, and they are trying to adapt to their environment by mixing DNA with the larger mammals on Earth. And so that is the reason they've been coming down here. Dogman. Somewhere in the 1990s, an experiment went sideways. And as a result, there are thousands of what we call dogmen throughout. They started in the Pacific Northwest and in the Soviet Union or Russia. And they'll only live to about 27 years old. We have nothing to fear from them. They cannot breed, and they will eventually, unfortunately, die out. But that was an experiment gone sideways, again, from an extraterrestrial group. The Loch Ness Monster did exist up to about either 1950 or 50 years ago. And there are a couple of eggs left. One egg is sterile, or it won't hatch, but one may. So we may see something like a dragon-headed, humpbacked aquatic being in another 30 or 40 years. What else did we cover, Elizabeth?
Make sure you mention that the SAS or the Echo does not breed with human.
Yes, and it
Yes.
does.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it does not breed with humans. It's only here to breed with large, wild mammals. Probably the areas that it's best known to be hanging out in is also an area where we have bears. So most likely just breeding with bears. And that's the Echo. That's the lovely Echo. And I'm trying to think of what else we miss. Mothman. Mothman was it's an apparition that scared the bejiggers out of some people, and that's what they named it. It kind of flies right towards them. It's a bit of an angry thing, but that's just the name for the shape of the apparition that people had seen. So Mothman, yeah, sure it exists. It's just some big ghostly apparition. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, yes, exists. The real name is Echo, E-K-K-O, and these beings are here on Earth to breed only, and this is why we don't find they don't find remains, and they don't find dens, and they just want to be left alone. Leave them alone.
Or babies, for that matter. There's no babies.
Yeah, there's no babies, so or young ones. So they just want to be left alone. And Mary was asking, so why echoes throw rock at human homes? I don't know, just to get them out of the neighborhood. Tell them to leave us alone while we're breeding. But they are then picked up by the travelers and taken off our planet. So that's why we see them sporadically. Now, in this next hour, we're going to, because we did cover off a lot of these things were connected to extraterrestrials. We talked about the travelers. And we're going to jump in. I'm going to let you go first, Elizabeth, because you have some questions about ETs. I have a whack of questions in regards to ETs and the Germans. Do you think I should go first on that because it goes back a long ways, or do you want to go first with yours?
No, mine are kind of like, the main questions, and then I think the Germany stuff is going to be a little thornier. So let's let her warm up to aliens first.
Okay, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Warm her up. Okay, are there alien bases on Earth?
No, not currently.
Are there alien bases? Are there alien pit stops under the earth or under the water?
He shows me the landing surface is on surface. It is not under and it is not underwater. So it is actually on Earth surface.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
And he says the word mountains again. So maybe often they will be seen in mountains.
They like. I know they like that. Are there groups of aliens that can their craft go underwater?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
He says the technology that exists far beyond what we can see is currently not something that humans are capable of understanding.
Okay.
It's far beyond. Yeah.
Okay. Is there an alien base or bases on the moon?
Several.
Okay.
He says several. And I'm seeing...
Good job! Yeah, tell us
three,
about those.
I'm seeing 3, and it's shown to me when I see the surface of the moon, there's one straight in front of me, and there's one to each side. But I don't see one that's underneath, so to speak. So south, west, and east. I'm sorry, northwest and east is what I'm seeing.
Elizabeth, are you in the chat rooms at all?
No, not right now.
Okay.
No. I'll go.
He's saying to me, and I'm just going to forward this, that there has been human contact made with what we called extraterrestrials on that planet. But he's showing me that the lips are sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better just to know. I'm asking general questions because some of the things I could get into would just be, okay, let's not appropriate for primetime radio. Okay, I'm going a little bit sideways here. Have people been abducted and or been in situations where they have felt like they have been abducted by aliens?
He says, yes, they have, and you know this yourself.
I know. I just wanted to see. So I won't make him spend more energy. I won't ask those silly questions. I know.
James.
Thank you, Rob.
James.
Yes.
James, do you know that you've been taken?
No.
He's showing me when you were about 7 years old, you were taken.
Okay.
Wow.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. Is there something to do with one of my legs?
Yes, and he's showing me the lower half of your leg. It's what is either sore or something was off.
Something was off.
Off as it felt off. It's something, but it's the lower half.
Which leg?
I'm seeing the lower half. I'm seeing left.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Do
you remember?
No, not really.
Okay. I don't feel you have memory of this. Otherwise, first of all, you would have shared it.
Yeah.
So the fact that you didn't share it, you didn't know. That's why he showed me that when you were 7, you were taken, and he says this was a friendly trip, quotation marks. Mm-hmm. No harm was done to you, but the memory was erased because so that you... Not because you would have fear, because you've had the experience that you've had was a pleasant one, but because you would have shared it with others, and that would have been detrimental to you.
Oh yeah, they would have locked me up back then. Could you just let me jump in here, Elizabeth, for a follow up? But Rob, could you ask me why they would have taken me?
He says the word home.
Home? Home?
Home. Yes.
Oh, okay. Because that then reflects to me being the big blue.
Okay. And that's why I guess it was a very pleasant experience. There was it had nothing to do with any kind of experimentation. And what I'm being shown is you're being greeted particularly by a female, and she doesn't look like human, but there's a lot of love from her, and you have absolute recognition of who she is. But the way it's being shown to me,
oh, you cut out.
What's happening, but you don't know what's happening. If you're in a daze. Do you hear me?
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I remember that trip. Now we went and abducted Elizabeth. Kidding.
Oh, you were that little.
Yeah, the little weasel. Okay, Elizabeth.
Okay,
carry on.
So we're going to go sideways. I'm not going to ask about things I already know. Who or what is making the crop circles when they are not made by humans?
I hear the words landing surface.
Okay.
Landing surface.
Are the patterns intentional, or are they just a byproduct of the landing?
He says, for the most part, it is a byproduct, but it is left there intentionally.
Okay.
I love how he answers. It drives me nuts.
No.
No, it's a beautiful. They're beautiful, and they're.
Oh, I got to jump in.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of them being left there intentionally?
It's to spark thinking. Think.
Oh, yeah.
It's to think.
Good call.
It's to think. And when I connect with that feeling, the thinking is up an anxiety. So he's saying to me that the reason why these circles or crop circles are made is to spark thinking. People are not ready to see fully yet what's out there. But he says to me, it will be coming in the next 20 to 30 years.
Excellent.
Okay.
It will become much more visible. And he's saying to me that humanity is preparing for this through the upcoming of what he calls a shift, and he shows me the number 5. And as we move forward towards, I guess, what people's interests will be sparked, and their interest will allow them to become more ready to see things and accept things much more without fear. Up until this point, there has been a lot of fear fed into people, and the reason why things are not appearing to them because it is at this point it would cause way too much chaos.
Is that why you have been given this information?
The mediums, yes.
Yes.
Yes, he's saying to me that those who are sensitive, and he says, be mindful that we are all sensitive, but those who choose to concentrate on their sensitivity in that particular area, and those who are interested enough in the subject do open themselves up to the possibility and ability to see beyond what they have been able to see before. And this is apparently a process of a natural evolution at this particular time of people who are sensitive.
Right
nice.
on.
But he also does say, he just followed up that not every sensitive is open to this idea or this ideology or this subject. So just because someone is sensitive does not necessarily mean they will automatically to that particular subject. It is, he says, it is marked with combination of being interested and for the most part, fearless.
Okay, you kind of broke up a bit, but I'm thinking you said that those who aren't sensitive, it's basically more of a fear base. Like they're comfortable with talking to Uncle Fred when he comes through, but they have some deep down kind of fear of anything outside of the human element. Yeah,
he's referring to this as an area of openness, and one will have the ability to open more than another strictly because that's their preference at any given moment. So somebody's preference may not be to open to this particular area, whereas with me, for example, I literally say, okay, bring it on.
Yeah.
The bigger, the better.
Perfect.
So I kind of open myself up. I've consciously opened myself up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question about, it's related to aliens, but it's also related to humanity. What are human beings? Are we genetically engineered by aliens, or are we a naturally occurring animal on this planet, or creature from this planet?
He says the word prototype. What is prototype?
Oh,
prototype means the first of something.
Okay, that's the word.
We're an experiment.
That's the word he showed me. Though he says, I would prefer you not to choose the word experiment because experiment signifies there is little to no interaction with the experimentee. Yeah.
There's no design. A prototype would be the first design, the first of its kind design. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are designed. Okay.
And he says we are designed, and we are designed with purpose.
With purpose. What is our purpose?
Oh, I'm glad you went there and not what's the purpose of the Chinese compared to the Indian compared to the Caucasian.
Okay. What is the purpose? What is that?
That was just me and the harmonica. Never mind.
Oh my God. Okay.
You and your harmonica.
Let me ask
Yeah, don't
him.
do that to her.
The purpose of humanity is to understand the basis of emotions.
Lovely.
He says to me that we are an emotional race, signifying to me that outside of physical existence in a human body, the emotional component that exists in other dimensions is not as vast or as deep as it is with human beings. We human beings have tremendous amount of depth to our emotions, which is not so with any other beings.
Oh, I see. Does that is that probably the reason that we're like number one on the space tour for all these ETs? They want to come down and poke and prod at us? That's not a question for Rob. That's just a speculation. One of the question I do have for Robert is Rob. As the human in this, and I call it a meat sack, in our bodies, is our image of all humans exactly the same? In other words, is it our soul image? Are all of our spirit energy, does it all look basically the same, even though our physical bodies are all different shapes and sizes and colors?
He says, you are light, and I don't mean you, he means you as we. You are light with varying degrees of, what's the word, please? Vibration.
Are we similar in light, shape to the God source?
He says it is difficult to describe having the level of understanding that we do. For anything that he puts a label on what we are versus the divine or the source will limit us, or will be limiting to us. So he says he doesn't feel comfortable in defining the question that you asked, but I'm going to ask him if there's another way he can answer this.
I have a different way of answering or asking a question. Okay.
Sorry?
I have a different way of asking the question.
He says, we and you are all made in the likeliness of what you will like to term a source or God, and therefore the vibratory component is quote unquote similar, though not the same. However, that does not signify is better or worse.
No.
It is just simply different.
I just got chills because we are made in the image of God. That's what it comes down to.
Or we make.
No,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is we're not our physical human body is not made in the image of God. Our spirit, our energy, and our vibration is made in a similar image to God. So what 5 fingers, 5 toes?
Yeah.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
The God source, God is energy.
He says to me that God or source or whatever we want to term it has no shape.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be defined by a shape. It can only be defined by existence.
Yeah.
It simply is.
Very cool.
So when I'm a blob on the couch, I'm closer to God. That's how I'm going to take that.
Okay.
He says when you are a blob on a couch, you are essentially God because you are made in the image of source.
God, of source. So
no matter,
it's okay.
No matter where we are.
Yeah. No matter what we're doing.
I'm going to take a left turn from religion right now because that can go completely sideways.
Yes.
We're going to talk about politics. No, we're not.
I was going to ask about Christ, whether Christ had any alien experiences.
Could we save that to the last hour?
That would really go sideways.
Yeah.
I would get crucified.
Don't use that word.
That yet.
Well, he did.
Okay. Joanna, if Rob, please, would just answer some of these things. Back in the 1930s in Germany, there was a group called the Vril, and the Vril were made up of 4 very, very psychic women.
Okay, let me just show you what he's already. Well, let me just tell you what he's showing me already without you asking the question, because I think he already knows what the question is.
Okay.
He's showing me there are 2 parties that are shaking hands, signifying that there is a cooperation or a work being done together. Is that your question?
Darn, that's my question later. Way to go.
Yeah.
That's
his question.
What I'd like to know, the Vril Society, and just for the listener, if you want to Google the Vril Society, this was a group of pre-World War II psychics who got together, and they actually downloaded a lady named Maria Orsicich, I'll say call her Maria. Maria downloaded what were believed to be plans for a flying disc. And now, of course, in 1938, 1939 Germany, that information went from scientists to the Nazis, and it's alleged that information on how to build a flying disc. And now Maria actually channeled the information in a language that was, hundreds of or thousands. It goes back to like Mesopotamia. And one of the scientists who translated it said, yeah, well, how would she know this language? And she's speaking it and writing it, or she wrote it, as you were. She wrote it perfectly. So he translated it down, and it was the plans to make a flying disc, allegedly. Now, I'm going to start off by saying, did Maria receive plans for a flying disc?
He says to me that she was part of the quote-unquote operation, but it was a very covert operation.
Oh, yes, it was. Did...
Oh, I have a question. Can I please? It's just sideways of this.
Oh, don't take it too far sideways. I got a whole list.
No. Was there a pre-existing flying disc that she simply described for them that they wanted to recover?
What they're showing me is that there was something that landed at some point and it crashed. And that was somehow communicated to her, and she had a vision of it.
Perfect.
Was she? Thank you, Rob.
Is that actually true? Do we know?
Well, we'll find out. No, if Rob's telling you,
we'll find out.
Yeah, it's true. Rob doesn't make this stuff out.
No, but do we know if something like something like that crashed in that era or in those days?
Yeah. Well, there was Tunguska, and then there might have been something in the Arctic, but I have some familiarity with looking for crash discs, and usually I'll get plans after about what I'm looking for. So that made more sense to me, that she would get plans about what they were looking for in order to, so they knew where to look and what they were looking for, versus here's how to build one. You know?
I see. Gotcha.
Did the government of that time, the Nazi government, did they build a flying disc?
He says there was an attempt that was made in reproducing something that was seen by her or given to her. However, it never came to fruition. It was never completed.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Did they ever?
And I'm asking him why, and he says, "Sorry."
Oh, did they ever find
the one that was that crashed?
Yeah.
He says yes, and the one they were building was in likeliness to the one that was found.
Okay.
And he's showing me, interestingly enough, this operation of building whatever this is actually underground, not just figuratively speaking, but it is actually underground.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
And I see this huge, what looks like bombs in the same facility. So it's a military thing.
Yep.
But interestingly enough, very high tech, from what I'm being shown. Sophisticated.
Yeah.
Can you ask him, would that the craft that they found have metal alloys or any sort of non-Earth elements that we would not have found on Earth yet in it?
I'm not getting a clear answer on this, but I keep hearing the word uranium.
Okay.
But uranium is something that is known to man, so I actually don't even know how that would fit.
Yeah, it's kind of...
But I heard uranium.
It might not have... Yeah, it might have been another number of uranium, or it might have been... Is he saying past uranium? Like it'd be on the table past uranium? But, yeah, okay. Interesting.
Quit being interesting.
Sorry. Well, that's the 30s. We didn't really do, uranium was known, but we didn't do anything with it.
Excellent. Okay, so...
Right after that.
So what I'm getting is there was communication through Maria. They tried to build a flying disc, and it just didn't work. Now, as the war went on, after the war, the U.S. and the Soviet Union came in and kind of took some scientists and split them up. Did the United States, or did Maria, was she spirited away to the United States, or was she taken off this planet?
He said to me that she escaped, not to a different planet, but she escaped.
And
he's showing me towards, like, North America.
Okay. Did she...
He's also...
Go ahead. No, you keep going.
He was also showing me that whatever she was doing, and this is a very weird area for me, and I have to tell you, maybe that's why I kept dwindling, a swastika, but he's saying to me that I see a vision of, I can't believe I'm saying this, Hitler actually being involved in this, or having knowledge of this.
Oh yeah, he was.
And I just got chills. And he's saying to me, showing me that though Maria had extensive involvement in what was happening as far as the Hitler domain, she wasn't there necessarily willingly.
Yeah, that's
right.
Kind of...
That would make sense.
Now, when she went to North America, was she then... did she continue her communication with those beings, and did she help in any way with any other development of a flying disc in North America?
I'm going to say something that's going to sound very strange, and I have no knowledge of this. I heard the word spy.
Okay. So I'm going to ask, this is a typical police follow-up question. A spy for who?
United States.
All right. Yeah. Where is Maria now?
He said that she's dead and her body has not been recovered.
Do we know where the body is?
I just hear the word river.
All right.
Yeah.
Did she...
got under ice.
Did she pass naturally?
No.
Oh, man.
And I actually see it. She was bound and let's just say she didn't have an easy death.
No. Was it in North America or Europe?
I just heard the word Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia? Okay.
But isn't that where she's from?
Yeah. Yeah, she's from that area. Now,
remember when we talked a few weeks ago and you just texted me and you said, what do you feel about this lady? And I said, she's telling me that she is not found. Her body hasn't been found.
Right.
Remember me saying that to you?
Yes.
This is consistent with what I'm being shown.
Okay.
And maybe that's why she kept coming to you.
Okay. That's sad. But I've got such a big crush on her.
I do too.
Yeah, she's just absolutely
gorgeous.
Stunning. I want to go from the Nazis working on this, end of the war. Can you ask Rob, was there a military base by the Nazis in conjunction with any connection with extraterrestrials in what we know as the Antarctic?
He's asking you to rephrase the question.
Did the German government from the 1940s set up a secret base in the Antarctic?
He says no. However, attempts were made, but unsuccessfully.
Okay.
He's showing, and he's showing me this as an image, as a vision of, it's almost like a path is being built towards that destination, but something happens 3/4 of the way there where it falls flat.
Okay. What was that falling flat possibly the United States Navy showing up and either scaring them out or pushing them out?
He says to me the war was over.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Because I know there was a Admiral Byrd went down there with just for an exploration group, and he actually took an army with him and lost some aircraft. But, they had float planes, and to lose them in Antarctic in the winter, yeah, that makes sense. So, okay, we got that out of the way. In the United States, after the war, did the plans for the flying disc go into the custody of the United States?
So are you asking did the plans of the flying saucer go into the government hands?
Of the United
US?
States?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
He says yes, but then he also follows up with saying it was destroyed immediately, which to me logically makes no sense. Why would anybody want to destroy this? See, my logic,
Rob.
I have.
Why would they want to destroy it?
That's a great question.
Why?
That's a great question.
Yeah. Why would they want to do that?
Something about there being no visibility of the project.
Oh, viability.
Oh, viability? Okay.
Yeah, the word that he was pushing to was viability. It wasn't viable.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Not viable. It wasn't.
work.
It wasn't going to work. Somebody reviewed it and said, "Nah, it's not going to work."
Okay.
It's not gonna work.
In 1947, there were a number of flying discs or flying saucers observed over Washington State. Were those manufactured by humans, or let me rephrase that? Were they manufactured on Earth?
No, there were visitors.
They were visitors.
To me, they were visitors.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were visitors.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask my question from 47?
No. I've got this. Okay, just Elizabeth. Just so you know how I ask questions, I have.
Yeah, I can
They
tell.
all lead one into another, and I might actually ask your question. So stand by.
I don't want to.
Are there any vehicles that would be commonly known as a flying saucer? Have any been made on Earth?
He says there are currently several in possession in the United States, and they're being replicated.
Are any of them in a position
Have taken off?
Yeah.
No.
No, not yet.
He says no, but from what I'm being shown, it probably won't be long.
Are there any beings that we refer to as being extraterrestrial working with governments of Earth right now?
He says there are several high officials who are collaborating with beings from a different planet.
Who are those?
Currently.
Yeah.
Who are
those?
Give me names and phone numbers.
No,
Names and phone
guys,
numbers now.
Seriously, guys, take a deep breath. Okay.
I know, don't get us.
I'm going to turn you off, Elizabeth. Shush.
No.
Rob, who are these people?
He says they're high-ranking generals, and that's as far as he'll go.
Or is there anybody higher ranking than the generals? In other words, are there government officials involved, or is it only military?
He says to me that the government as an entity has only limited visibility to what the project is.
Okay.
So he's showing me two entities. One is the government and one is the military. The military entity is the one that is fully involved in what we talked about. Yeah. There is some awareness that is being, some information that is being given to the entity of government, but it is only limited information that is being fed there.
Are there any extraterrestrials working within the government?
No.
Okay, and what was the other one here? ET's working within the government. You say that, Rob, you've passed on some great information that there was a number of these extraterrestrial vehicles that are in possession of a government. Are they only in possession of one government on Earth?
I'm writing down USSR, although I don't think that exists anymore. But apparently, whatever used to be called USSR or Russia, is in a possession of quite a few.
All right, and those are the only two governments then. U.S.
No, I can't believe I'm saying all this stuff. Don't crucify me.
No.
I'm also seeing China.
Mm-hmm.
China, which leads me to my next question. During the Korean War, the United States, during the Vietnam War, the United States had an area bordering or close to China, which was basically a no-go zone. You did not go in there. You didn't bother those people. And they actually sent a couple of little patrol boats up this river where they were alleged to have encountered a flying disc. They shot at it, and their bullets actually came back onto their boat. Not enough to kill them, just like they were being thrown back. They couldn't penetrate this thing. That's what was reported. Later, there was an Australian Navy ship off the coast in waters that it would have really ramped up the Chinese. And it fired on a flying disc. And the flying disc actually, the shells then were not, and it's not bouncing off. They came over to it, and then they just went back. But it actually hit the side of the Australian ship, and it went down. Is this story true?
He says yes.
All right, and the reason I ask that is, are extraterrestrials protecting us then from an all-out nuclear war?
Before you ask that question, when he says yes, he also followed up by saying, however, you do not know the full story. And then you ask the question. So let me just ask that question.
Okay. And while she's checking, I've got to tell guys in the chat room, I've been concentrating on my questions. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joanna.
Would it help if I asked my 50-year question?
No.
Yes, it would. It would.
I completely lost you there for a second. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, just waiting for you to answer.
James?
Yes? What happened? Joanna?
Oh, Joanna.
Uh-oh. That's not what I want to hear. She says she's still hooked up. Uh-oh. Oh, those little government weasels.
I know. Joanna, see if you stay. Oh, there she is. Oh.
Can you hear me, Joanna? Oh, that's funny. Not funny, ha-ha. Funny, strange.
Hey.
Hey.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. I can hear you.
Okay.
But I completely lost you there for a second.
Yeah,
and
we
I
lost you
wonder
too.
if there's a reason behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's breaking out. I really want to ask my question because it might focus her.
Could we just?
It might focus her.
Let's stick
it
to
will
the.
Focus her. I know how to do this. I'm a medium. It will focus her.
Oh, good. So she'll be able to answer the question we asked her. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. Was there an agreement made or a meeting with an alien race and the U.S., the USSR, and a kind of treaty or agreement made in 1947 regarding nuclear weapons that went for 50 years? With the aliens?
He says to me that he doesn't call them aliens. He calls them other beings. For whatever reason, he doesn't like the name aliens. Yep. There was and there currently is a collaboration going on with respect to officials working together with other beings from other galactic, intergalactic, whatever the word is. However, he says to me that it has nothing to do with the nuclear component.
Okay.
Okay.
Joanna, we were talking about the action in Vietnam, and Rob says there was a bigger story.
Yes.
What was the bigger story?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this to do with Korea?
I thought it was Vietnam. But
well, I have a question about Korea, but
can we get to that after this? I've got two more questions after this one in regards to this incident.
Let me just see if I can get this here. Can you repeat the question? I lost it.
When we're talking about the two patrol boats going up the river and encountering a craft, and then the Australian ship being sunk, kind of accidentally, you were saying it did happen.
Oh yes, so
but I didn't know the whole story.
What he was saying is that there were preventative measures being taken to prevent something that would have had what's the word, please? Dire consequences.
Yes, that's and those dire consequences would have been bringing a nuclear. The Chinese into the War of Vietnam.
He shows me a nation folding itself in, as in like a dog eats its young. That's the metaphor that's being shown.
Yeah, the China would have just taken over everything down there. They would have come in because of the U.S. breaking the agreement. And they'd come in under the guise of, we're going to come in and protect everybody, but they would have just taken all those countries. Now, my follow-up to that one is, and I'll just to make sure we get this, is there a group of beings, or one group of beings out there, that will step in to prevent us from killing each other with nuclear weapons?
He says that we will not kill each other with nuclear weapons. That's not going to happen. And it's not because somebody is going to step in, but because humanity is now moving in a direction where a level of understanding is going to be achieved that will allow people and humanity at large to function at a much higher frequency. And then he shows me the word compassion. So there's something happening that will actually allow people to change their vibration, which will enable them to be less combative.
Will this happen after the 5, after the appearance of our extraterrestrial friends, our extraterrestrial beings after the 5? Are we waiting for that to happen? And it'll come in after that, is what I'm trying to say.
He shows me that the awareness that he was referring to at large, this is an awareness at large, he's showing me is going to take place within the next 200 years.
Oh. Okay, I'll have to come back in another life to deal with that. Drat.
Yeah, so we won't be dealing with that. Well, at least not in this body anyway.
And you know what? If what Rob has basically passed on, we're not going to have a nuclear war for the next. We're not between now and then. So I'm good. I'm good to deal with my mortgage.
He says, "Yeah, we will not destroy ourselves, not through nuclear war anyway."
Okay, we're coming up to the top of the hour. We're going to take a quick break to recap what we've gone through in the first 2 hours of the show. There are at least, there are 3 bases, extraterrestrial bases on the moon. Bigfoot, Sasquatch, does exist. It is not a terrestrial Earth being. It is, in fact, Echo, E-K-K-O. The Echo are beings that come here only to breed. That's why there's no children found. You never find a young one. You never find a dead one. You never find a den. They only come down here to breed, and they're taken off the planet to another, where they come from or where they belong, by a group of ETs we refer to as the Travelers. And believe it or not, you Bigfoot fans, that is the outfit they wear on this planet while they breed with our large mammals, our bears. They're actually, I keep wanting to say bugs, Joanna. I'm sorry. they are actually mantis ETs inside of those big hairy, they're not costumes. They actually changed for breeding purposes to fit in and disappear on this planet. Dogman, in the mid-1990s, the Travelers, it was a error in and they don't like using the word experiment, but it kind of went sideways. There are thousands of them. They go from the Pacific Northwest and also in the Soviet Union. They live to 27 years old, and they cannot breed, and they're not... humans have nothing to fear from them. They are just a being that was a mistake genetically. And we can go on from there, but we're going to take this break and come back in 7 minutes. So scratch your heads, wonder what's going on, and come back with us and more from Joanna and Rob in 7 minutes.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott, and I would like to invite you to listen Monday through Friday right here on Spaced Out Radio. 3 hours a night of the top stories with the top guests, ranging topics from UFOs to ETs, ghosts to Sasquatch, and everything in between. We are live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. So come on in and take a listen at spacedoutradio.com. Spaced Out Radio will take you out of this world.
Hi there, this is your psychic medium Joanna, and I would love it if you would join us every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. With host James Tyson, we'll bring you personal psychic messages on 2 mediums and a large. questions about love, life, career changes, we would love it if you would come and join us live. Call in and listen in for the experience. Allow us to open the doors to your other side. 2 mediums and a large, heard only on Spaced Out Weekend at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for news beyond the mainstream news? Head to spacedoutradio.com and check out the SOR Spacewire. This is Spaced Out Radio's Eric Markham, News Director for the SOR Spacewire. Daily, I will bring you intriguing stories and outlandish reports from what's going on around the world. UFO sightings, paranormal activity, conspiracies, alternative health, and so much more. And if you have news, email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Attention Spaced Out Radio listeners. For only $5 a month, you can join Spaced Out Radio Space Travelers. Your membership at spacedoutradio.com will give you access to private fan area on the website, get you a monthly newsletter, draws for monthly swag, and a whole lot more. Sign up today to become a part of the Spaced Out Radio experience.
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
Greetings and salutations, space travelers, from the Chronicles of the Unknown team.
What is Chronicles of the Unknown? I keep hearing about this thing.
It's a new paranormal reality TV show based right here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Follow our team as we uncover claims of activity on the Caribou Gold Rush Trail. You can also follow us here every third Monday, where 2 members of our team will be available to answer your questions. We'll give you some equipment updates and some of our experiences on the road, right here on Spaced Out Radio.
For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Find yourself constantly looking up in the sky, looking for answers? Have you had extraterrestrial contact? Are you an abductee? Looking for answers to your experiences? Hi there, I'm R. Keith Andrews, Spaced Out Radio's resident ET expert. Join me live the first Friday of every month, where I take questions from the Spaced Out Radio chat room and help you understand those from the far-off world. It's 2 hours of knowledge every experiencer should listen to. Hope to see you there.
Hey everybody, this is Patrick Webster Small, and I'm here to bring you the Webster Phenomena every Saturday night, live at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. If you're looking for aliens and extraterrestrials, well, we've got them. Big and tall, short and small. You're bound to find what you're looking for. So join me on the Webster Phenomena right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Jolene with Reveal Reiki and Readings, and I want you to relax. Let me help you chill out and get in touch with your body, mind, and soul. In this busy world, sometimes we need to let go, and this is where I can help. Visit my website, rivuletrr.wix.com/rivuletrr&r, or my Facebook page, Rivulet R&R, to set up an appointment for relaxation, Reiki, or readings, no matter where you are. It's time for you to make time for you.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Every month on Spaced Out Radio, we look into the deep and dark reports of cryptids roaming around the world with me, Rob Morphy from Cryptopia.us. I would love it if you would join me and host Dave Scott as we delve into the most arcane stories and reports regarding creatures of the unknown. My job is to hunt down the details and bring the evidence forward to you. These aren't your regular Bigfoot stories I'm talking about either. You can find out more about crypto history at spacedoutradio.com.
Tonight's edition of Spaced Out Weekend is brought to you by spacedoutradio.com, where you can now sign up to become a Space Traveler member. Now, for the final time tonight, here's Spaced Out Weekend's James Tyson.
Thank you, David. We are back with Joanna the Medium, and we are drilling down into things from Mothman, Dogman, all the other men, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or what I call him Echo now, because that's what he is. He is a mantis being in a fuzzy outfit that he comes down here to breed. He, she, because they're asexual. So that is why we never find their children, never find their bones, never find a house. They're in and out. I shouldn't have said it that way. Anyway, we are... It's a hit and run. Loch Ness Monster did exist up until about 50 years ago, 1950-ish. There are 2 eggs hanging out there. Only one is fertile, so in another 40 or 50 years, we will see another being similar to what had been seen floating around in Loch Ness, in the last 100 or so years. Nessie was a female. She's passed, but laid a couple of eggs before she went. And what else do we have here? We got the Echo. There are no ET bases on Earth right now. No ET bases on Earth. We do have at least 3 on the moon. The U.S. government, NASA, does know they exist. They have had contact with those fellows up on the moon, which is more or less confirmed from what we've heard on some recordings that did come from astronauts on the moon. So that does exist, 100%. There is a contract. There is an agreement between nations with how to interact with ETs or space brothers there, or beings from space. There's no underground bases on Earth where ETs are working diligently. Dogman, again, I'm telling you, we're not supposed to use experiment. It was a process that went sideways. There's thousands of them. That was in the 1990s, and they didn't work out. As a result, they do not breed. They only live to about 27 years old. They're an ugly cuss, and they're of no danger to humans. Some of the questions that we had coming in were in regards to do extraterrestrials have ships that are big enough to be a space station? Do they exist? I'm going to ask a specific question because I've had this come from other psychics that have actually visited this ship. It's out by Jupiter, and it's almost like a customs place where ETs or our brothers in space would have to almost check in when they fly into our solar system. So I know Joanna's getting tired. She's not going to be around much longer. So I'm going to put some basic lizard and reptilian questions to her in a bit. But I'd like to start off, Joanna, if you can ask Rob, does a space station exist that is manned, we'll call it manned, or occupied by a number of different species or different races of our space brothers for the purpose of just kind of checking to make sure any other space traveler is not going to be damaging us here.
What he actually used the term was, in quotation marks, intergalactic border.
Okay, that's totally makes sense.
And he's trying to show me something, but I'm also going to ask him to explain what the purpose of this is. He said to prevent invasion.
Now, Kathy Forte, who channeled how to build a device which can be used to cure people, she was taken aboard that space station, and she was basically walking through it, she's thinking this is like a Star Trek episode. Every station has somebody from some different species or some, and they were all working in this, and it was a big window, and as other spacecrafts pass in front of it, it's almost like they're scanned, and not just scanned to see if there's a compartment at the back end of it, but the being's intention was scanned too.
Yeah, the purpose, of their travel.
If their purpose was to be a little bit cranky, they were turned around. Now, speaking of cranky, our friend Elizabeth and others have purported to be taken by beings, abducted by beings who were less than benevolent. Mm-hmm. Do those beings still take humans for experiments, or for what other for reasons of negative contact?
I hear the word grays, so I'm assuming a gray being. He calls them grays.
Yeah.
Okay. I also see them. He's showing me an image of one. They're quite short, about 5 feet tall. They are gray looking. And interestingly enough, they feel, it's going to sound strange, but they feel like workers. That does not mean that they're not intelligent, but there seems to be an energy of a certain vibration that would signify they're not, shall I say, highly evolved.
Yeah.
And he is showing me that they do enter our space for the purpose of, he gives me the word reintegration, and I don't necessarily understand what that means at this point, but for the purpose of extracting information from our species, the human, for the purpose of their own evolution. However, what he's saying to me, that the intent is not to harm, the intent is to learn. However, that doesn't always appear to turn out this way. And it doesn't appear to turn out this way predominantly because people who are quote-unquote taken with them, when they have memory, the memory is very much of being taken not as of their free will.
Yeah.
So it ends up being a situation or a experience that is done very much against their will.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I've got to touch on this just because it's part of the whole. It's part of the basket when we talk about UFOs and extraterrestrials. Which group, if they were, or well, let me put the question easier, cattle mutilations. We've had over the years a number of reports of cattle being mutilated in a field. Was this in fact caused by our space brothers? And if so, which group?
I'm just trying to tune in. So I first asked if the cow mutilation was actually done by aliens. He said yes. Now let me follow up with a question. I'm going to ask what the purpose of it was.
Okay.
To extract DNA pertinent to what's the word, please? Again, he showed me DNA.
Okay. I don't need to know what it's pertinent to because I kind of eat those things. So now I'm gonna get into, and again, I promised you I wouldn't keep you too much longer past 11 out here on the West Coast. But Joanna, we've heard of these beings called reptilians, and there are stories about them actually working within the government and within industry. First of all, my first question, are there beings called reptilians?
Yes, there are, but they do not resemble a reptile.
All right. Do those beings work within any government or any corporation on Earth?
He follows up by saying that these are highly evolved beings, and the word reptilian or the label reptilian does not do them justice.
Okay.
Again, he showed me USSR, which is, I'm assuming, stands for Russia.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to see if there's anybody else. What I'm being shown is that there is some kind of collaboration going on with Russia, and I feel energetically that there either is something in the works with United States or it will shortly become the case. Energetically, I'm being shown that it is working itself that way.
Are these beings negative, or let me say, are they helpful to humans?
Quite on the contrary, they're not negative at all. Quite to the contrary, their purpose is to help humanity understand itself, especially when it comes to energy and technology as a unit.
Energy and technology as a unit. That's interesting.
So I'm going to ask him to explain that. How we can extract energy and combine it with technology.
Oh, okay.
Or how we can figure something about energy and technology, combining those two aspects together.
Nice. I can see that.
And he's actually following up saying that the bigger picture of this is to actually help the planet Earth green.
Yeah, that was kind of where I'm going with that. I was wondering, to get to deal with more energy that's not explosive and blowing up, but more of a positive
more
energy.
efficient. Yeah, it's to do with more efficient use of energy and technology that will follow.
Joanna, if you wouldn't mind asking Rob, if is there any space brother residing on our planet right now or active on our planet that is a negative to humans?
For the first time, he's not answering that question. And energetically, I feel uncomfortable with, for whatever reason. So it's almost like he's not going to venture to that territory.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm actually going to ask him why at least we can't know. He says that this would contribute to a chaos that is completely unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Rob. Rob, sorry.
He followed up. He says, "Do not be afraid."
No, Yeah, we're all good. We're all good. The way the Earth is going right now, and it's whether the ozone is depleting or pollution or carbon, the use of fossil fuels, is that affecting the Earth in a way that is so negative that this will affect our future generations?
He says to me that the effects have already taken place. However, in the next 50 years, there's going to be a greater global understanding of the significance of the damage that has been done globally, and therefore it'll spark a greater yearning towards replenishing what was lost.
Right. Okay.
So it seems very much like we are kind of screwing ourselves up right now, but we're coming to a time or a period where our eyes are going to be opened much wider, and because of it, it's almost like something is going to tweak within us, and we're going to go, okay, we got to start reversing the damage that has been done. And he's showing me that's currently where this is going, or will be in a very near future.
That's good to know. Rob, do we have multi-dimensional beings existing with us at the same time on our little planet here?
What he's showing me is that beings come and go, but they do not reside permanently amongst us.
Okay. And
was that your question?
I was just wondering if at the exact same time as I'm standing here, Rob, could there be a parallel reality where someone else is standing beside me?
He says to me it's a matter of dimensions, which are, what's the word you want me to use? Distinguished by the level of vibration.
Okay.
So what he's showing me, it's almost like layers, and each layer has a different frequency. Depending on who we are and what frequency we're able to perceive, we'll only perceive that particular frequency. And even though there are other frequencies that are beyond that, we cannot perceive it.
Are there some humans, Rob, that can see beings on our planet that also exist here, that can, like, let me rephrase that. I've spoken to people who see things. They see very tall beings. They see things crawling up buildings, things that you might describe as a gargoyle or very odd things. Is what they are seeing real?
There's two answers to this question. The first answer is those who see certain beings see them not because they have the ability to see beyond their ability, but because the beings that they're seeing lower their vibration.
Okay.
In order to be here. So we are able to perceive. Now, the other end of that question is when you talked about buildings and things crawling. When you said, is it real? He said, it is real to them.
Okay. So to the viewer, it's real. Okay.
No, it's almost like he's dividing this question into two different categories.
Okay.
And he's showing me an example of somebody looking, and there is a huge mantis crawling on a building. And I'm asking the question, is it real? He says it is real to them.
To the mantis?
No, to the person who's looking at the mantis.
To the person who sees them, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But there's also the other group of people who do see other beings, and those beings actually do exist. So there's two different categories of people that you are trying to ask in one question.
Got it.
Or at least he's dividing it into different. Do you understand?
I do, because he's probably dividing it into what I should have been asking as opposed to what I did ask. And just double checking, we already asked the question. I'm sorry, I've written most of these down. There are no ships, we'll call them spaceships, that are man-made that can leave our go outside of our atmosphere, other than the ones that are commonly known by man, like the space shuttles and the rockets. We don't have any secret UFOs that can, fly around.
He says there is nothing that is fully functional at this point. However, again, he's showing me that there is something in the works that is made in the likeliness of something that was found.
Okay. What year, and I'm sorry to pin you down to a year, Rob, but who and in what year found the first fallen spaceship?
Before you even asked the question, I got the year 1965.
1965. That was the first one?
Let me just go back and ask. He says that was the most significant one.
Okay. Does he know where that was found?
I actually got two things. Well, first I got Europe, and then I got Roosevelt.
Roswell?
Okay, is that Roswell?
Yeah.
What is that? I know it sounds familiar.
Yeah, actually our phone number to call into our show it's the area code is Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the most significant one. That is very cool.
Are there any special sightings in that area ever?
Oh yeah, that's where a spaceship went down, and my next question was any of the occupants of that spacecraft were they found to be alive?
He showed me that one survived.
Is that one still alive today?
I just hear the word observation.
Okay.
Observation.
Yeah, that to put an answer to that term would speculate whether he's still under observation, basically being held prisoner, which would be sad. What race would that occupant have be?
I can't see it.
Okay.
I'm not getting it.
Okay. Probably just because we're not supposed to. I'm going to.
What I do get that it feels like it was a female that survived. That I get quite strongly.
Oh, must have been the driver.
Energy to it. You're funny.
What?
Oh my God.
Can you tell us what the purpose or what caused the accident?
He says to me, say it again. Structure malfunction due to something or other.
Probably broke up, come into the atmosphere, and just kept skidding. Where were they from?
I'm not getting that either.
Okay. Kind of an odd question in amongst this, but there was a very famous gentleman, a guy by the name of Gene Roddenberry, who He was a writer. And could you ask Rob if Gene Roddenberry had contact with our space brothers, or was an abductee himself?
He says to me that he was a frequent visitor away from this planet, and he had contact. He had both contact and was an abductee. Except he doesn't like that word, abductee. He doesn't like that word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joanna, do you know who he was?
I have no clue who he was. Who is he?
He was the guy who wrote all the Star Trek episodes, the original Star Trek.
Oh my God! No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Huh.
In the United States, we have some interesting elections going on, but in the past, we have a past president, John F. Kennedy, who in his time, brief time, had a lot on his plate with the Soviet Union and the Cold War. And unfortunately, he was assassinated. Are you allowed, are you being permitted to talk about that assassination?
He says, for what purpose?
Just want to know if there was only one person who was involved in that assassination. I mean by pulling the trigger. I understand
what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. He shows me that there was 3 people, but one was the one that pulled the trigger.
Okay. Was the one who pulled the trigger ever arrested?
No.
Did the one who pulled the trigger, is that person still alive today?
I heard that the person died a while ago.
Okay. Can you tell me what the person's name is?
He's laughing at you.
Yeah, I'm thinking he would be.
I'm actually asking him the question. He's laughing. I'm like, why are you laughing? Oh my God, I'm losing my voice.
So I guess that's, we're not going there?
He says the information you are seeking has the potential to be very damaging.
I bet it does. Yes. Thank you. One more question. The people who were involved in the assassination, were they working for a government?
This is what he says. He says, I already told you I'm not going to discuss matters pertaining to speculations and government.
So the answer is yes. Thank you, Rob. Rob's going, what?
I think he just slammed me. Well, not me, because I'm just a tool. I have got nothing to do with this. It's
okay.
you. It's you.
Hey, Rob, I'm going to leave that. We're going to break away from that because I know Joanna wants to get to bed. I want to talk to you about the sighting of things like pterodactyl, these large flying birds that existed back millions of years ago. Mm-hmm. Are there still birds like that flying on Earth today?
He's actually showing me 2 different birds that I have awareness of. And one is a vulture, and another one is a pelican, which is completely 2 different species. So I'm going to ask him why he's showing me this. He says, this is as close as you will get to pterodactyl.
Yeah, because and unfortunately, when people claim they've seen a pterodactyl flying, it's always got its neck out straight. But if you ever watch a pelican who has a similar sized neck and similar sized beak, it flies with its head almost on its body with its neck kind of bent and out. So when someone tells me about, I saw a pterodactyl fly and this is how it flies, I kind of bite my lip going, that's too much weight out front. It's going to fly with its head back. So
I wonder if that's why he showed me the pelican.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I think of too. So if you had a pelican and a vulture put together, yeah, you got yourself a meat-eating pelican pterodactyl. But if those are the only two birds that exist on Earth that look like a pterodactyl, I'm going to go with Rob saying no, they do not exist. We'll make it easy. Is there a bird or flying mammal, flying reptile on Earth today that has a wingspan of over 20 feet?
No.
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 Thanks, Rob, because I knew where that was going.
He says that has not existed for thousands of years.
Yes, I'm kind of with him on that. I don't think those things are oot and a boot anymore. I'm just going through my list here. We got. Hey, Rob, we talked about the reptilians. What should we call them other than reptilian? Is there a name for that race of beings?
He's asking me to say a word I have no understanding of. Something that sounds like, say it again. Cyan. Cyan.
Cyan.
Cyan.
Cyan.
I'm asking him to spell it.
It wouldn't be Syrian? Sirius or Syrian?
No. He says no, it's not the same as Cyrus or Sirius. So I'm going to ask him to spell it. Spell it, please. Syun.
Oh my God, they're Korean.
Sorry, Cyun. Oh my God, you can't
okay. Syun. Would it be Syun?
Syun. How do you pronounce it?
Syun.
Cyan.
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 Cyan. Cyan.
That's interesting.
Cyan.
I wonder where the name reptilian ever came from.
I don't know. I have no idea. There's a lot of... We've stuck a lot of names on these things. Greys is a common term for those little short ones you were talking about.
Well, they are gray, yeah.
Yeah, they're little gray weasels, and they're the ones that usually are the more painful of the group to run into. And it sounds like when I was abducted, it was my relatives, and my mom just wanted to see me, so that's kind of cool. Or my mom or my interplanetary mother.
Right.
A couple of questions right on the bottom here. Adolf Hitler, alleged to have committed suicide and died in a bunker. Is that true? And if he's laughing at me for asking silly, simple questions...
No. He's not laughing. He's trying to show me something, but I can't quite make it out. He's showing me that he got to an older age, but he did take his own life.
Well, that's gosh darn interesting.
Why? What do we know about Hitler?
Oh, he was supposed to have died in the bunker in 1945. Rumor has it he fled to... somebody took him out of the bunker, the Russians, put him in a shallow grave and burnt the remains. Rumor has it he escaped to South America. So could you ask Rob, what continent did Hitler finally pass away?
I hear South America.
Okay. Well, that's very cool.
And apparently he had an alias, and I guess alias is a different name, right?
Yeah. You probably would. You want to, hello, my name is Adolf Hitler.
Course. Yeah,
Do you have
exactly.
strudel? Yeah, because that would draw a lot of attention. Joe in the chat room wants to know from Rob, are there any creatures that we, from this time, refer to as dinosaurs, still alive on Earth? Joe specifically says the continent of Africa, but I was wondering if there are any on Earth, in the sea or on land.
He says no, and he follows up by saying that the conditions are too, quote unquote, treacherous.
Oh, okay.
Whatever
Probably,
that means.
could be just.
I'm actually asking him what that means. And again, he's talking about something atmospheric gases or something or other.
That's kind of where I was going to go with that. That it's just not the right atmosphere for what they used to breathe at the time, and the conditions. One of the other thing. Joe's asking, just a confirmation, did man in the 1960s travel from Earth to the moon and back?
He's actually showing me more than one occasion.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we know that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he's showing me more than one occasion. Yeah.
Okay. And one of those times is when those humans had contact with our space brothers who happen to be hanging out there. Mm-hmm. Correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
How's Rob feeling with the information that he's passed on? Is he okay? He's kind of shut us down on some of the ones that would get you in trouble.
He says, "I'm fine with it. How do you feel?"
No, I'm really good, Rob.
He's also asking me, how do I feel?
Yeah, because
and I'm saying,
tired.
How do I feel about this? Well, aside from tired, I'm actually not connecting to any of this information right now, which is good.
Yeah,
I don't want to have any emotional connection to it because I don't. Yeah,
it's coming very quickly through you, and this is quite interesting that the conversation that we're having is coming through you very quickly. And when you don't know about places like Roswell and you don't know, what happened to Hitler, really, it's just one of those interesting things. Now, there was a alleged meteor struck in Russia, and are you familiar with that? Because you're from there, aren't you?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Was it a meteor that struck, or was it a something over and above a meteor, like a space vehicle?
He says that it was a meteor, but he also says it had something to do with seismic activity. Isn't that doesn't make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Isn't seismic activity? It does?
Yeah. Ask Rob if that meteor was directed by a force, a non-natural force, like by a Space Brother group, to see or to create a seismic event that could be measured.
I asked him what the purpose of it is, and he said it was to create an awareness of something that is possible down the road.
Oh, I gotcha. So we just kind of making sure we know that stuff happens, and if things could fall and create some issues.
He's saying to me that the awareness, it was meant to have an awareness that there is something out there that can have the potential of having a
catastrophic.
Or there's another word he's saying, but I can't pronounce it. Let's stick with catastrophic proportions.
Very cool.
And he's showing me that as a result, there are people now who are working on determining whether there is a way of preventing this from happening in the future.
Yes, definitely. And
which is going to open them up to an area of understanding that they haven't previously thought about.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
It was created almost like a hook to get people thinking and open them up into another area, expanding.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking into a new way of a new energy or a new device to
energy device. And also the feeling I'm getting from this is that it creates an awareness that forces one to look beyond what is visible and look into things that are not currently available, but things that will eventually create a safer environment on this planet.
Okay.
So it's almost like something happens that acts as a catalyst for something. That's what he's showing me.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool.
And he's showing me it has scientists scratching their heads, so there's some thinking going on here.
Oh, I hope so. If the scientists aren't thinking, drat.
We're in trouble.
Yeah, they better be. Gosh darn it.
Darn it.
Dang scientists. We've covered a lot of our common UFO, our common cryptid questions. It's some of it, even Hitler, which was actually kind of an extra one I threw in there, and that surprised me. That really did surprise me. Rob's answer for that. I've always bled. I've always bled when I was cut. I've always believed that he committed suicide, died in the bunker, but to see him snuck out the back door, that would be more like the crazy dictator he was.
Is there some writings about him actually escaping? So is that out there somewhere?
Yeah, it was a myth or an urban myth that he escaped and went to South America because a lot of his Nazi buddies showed up in South America, and and were arrested, or the Mossad tracked them down and made them dead. Those are the Nazis that didn't end up working at NASA.
Right.
One of the things, is there a mace? Is there a base, a multinational human base on Mars right now?
He says not right now, exactly as the question, because you're asking. There's many different, not nations, but different types of beings that have a station there. Is that what you're asking?
I was wondering if out of all those Space Brothers stations up there, do humans have a station up there too?
Oh, I see what you're saying. He says currently not, but that will transpire in the very near future, and he's shown me the number 25.
Okay.
25 to 30 years. Yeah.
All right. Very, very cool.
And he's saying to me this is going to become a common knowledge.
Yeah. So if someone was to come to me and say, I'm with this government and I've been working on Mars for 15 years, do I believe him?
Well, he actually said to me that Mars is going to be occupied by humans.
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Well, Obama was talking about going up to Mars. Not by himself. I'm saying that he was talking about...
Yeah. Well, maybe that's a good place to be after the 9th of November, hey? Who knows?
Yeah, well, you would know better. Rob would know better than any of us. And I'm kind of skating around that one. Hey, are there any, Rob, are there any beings occupying inner Earth?
As in the core of the Earth, you mean?
Anywhere below where we're walking right now.
So below the surface.
Yeah.
He's saying to me, you want to know if there's anything occupying the core of the surface.
Yeah, it just basically if anybody lives under Earth.
Yeah, what I'm being shown is no. From what I see, no. He's not saying it to me, but he's showing me as a vision, and I don't see any civilization or anything living there.
Is there any truth to the description of huge underground bases that in the United States or any other country that were paid for by private companies and or the military in the event of a disaster where like the elite or the rich people would go? That's a weird question. I may be able to break it down a bit better. Are there
I think I know what you. I think I know what you're asking me, and I'm just trying to see what he's showing me. Currently, there are many undercover operations that are meant and designed 4 times in case of a disaster.
Yeah. Are there any secret bases that are just strictly military and where they're conducting secret spy experiments? Oh, what am I doing? I'm going off on I'm tired now. Did Johnny Quest and Haji actually... No. I want to thank Rob for doing this, and I want to thank you for coming out and staying awake.
Literally coming out.
Coming out as a connection with Rob with
Crazy
more
stuff.
than just Uncle Fred. It's amazing. Hey, in March of 2017, if Rob looks in the White House in the United States, is it still standing, or is a president... will there be a president in March 2017 for the United States?
Well, I'm seeing a figure, so that's a yes.
Okay. Is Rob giving you a description of the figure, other than just a figure?
I see who it is.
Okay. Is that something you don't want to come out with?
I'm going to ask him. He said it's not appropriate for this conversation.
Okay, understood. Is that person going to... Oh, I think Rob knows where this is going. Is that person going to finish their term as president?
No.
All right.
And then I hear the word scandal.
Yes.
Oh, you know?
Both people running have skeletons in the closet. One, it depends on what week and who's kicking the door down, which skeletons are kicking the door down.
Yeah.
And I've kind of got a feeling, but if somebody's there in March, maybe it'll take a little bit longer before they're pulled down. I've been telling people to vote for who their favorite vice president is. No, and Spirit Carrier, one of the people here, which leads me to who's going to assassinate Hillary. It's scandal. It's not an assassination. It's scandal. So go out and vote for your favorite vice president.
Is it possible to be terminated from a presidency?
Oh, yeah. You can get impeached.
Because I hear the word termination.
Termination. Yeah, you're fired. You get the, it happened to Richard Nixon. He got turfed for the Watergate scandal. I think Bill Clinton got turfed for his mayonnaise scandal and some other things. I don't know. But, just remember, guys, vote for your favorite vice president, because that's going to be who's running your ship. Which, in the long term, I think it makes me sigh. I'm very relaxed when I think that it's going to be interesting time for the comedians on late night television, and it's going to be an interesting time for the U.S. to kind of sit back and go, okay, everything's this thing which is rocking the water is going to calm, and we're going to get on with our lives.
I have this funny feeling, and he's not really saying it to me. I'm asking if I can kind of say this, what the feeling I have, and he's saying just tread lightly. But I have this funny feeling that whoever the president is going to be, and whatever is going to happen with him or her, it's going to be followed by economy collapse.
Yeah, that does follow a lot of times on the heels of a impeachment, and it's just because everyone backing out really quick. But then it'll pick up again. The economy will collapse. Hey, then the U.S. dollar will go down, and I can go to the States more often. Woohoo!
Yeah, but he does show me that it will recover very quickly.
Yeah,
and the rebuilding process is actually what's going to start a new foundation for the government.
Good, because that matches up with another psychic who said that she saw the flags, or she said, I see the White House burning. And then she said, no, it's really just the flags, which metaphor for it's going to flip it on its lid. Whatever's going to happen is going to turn the system upside down and make it better. Yeah. So all what's complaining about fixed voting and emails and sex scandals, all this stuff is going to go away. It's a chapter in history.
It has to fall on itself in order to be rebuilt from ground up.
Yeah. It'll be a self-cleansing, which is good. It's going to make,
that's what I'm saying.
In the long run, everyone's going to be happy out of it. Joanna, this is awesome, and you ended up talking way too long. If this was any other night and any other person, I would drag you kicking and screaming into overtime. Into extra innings, pleasure. But this is amazing, absolutely amazing.
It was my pleasure.
Oh, absolutely my pleasure too.
As I get this ringing in my ear, oh my goodness! Woo!
Okay,
I think Rob is telling me I'm done.
You are done. The fancy music's on, and tomorrow night we have a Dr. Barrett, a psychic, who was going to come on and chat with us some more. Thanks again, Joanna.
Thank you.
You guys have been great. Thank you. Thank you, Rob. And everybody out there, just shut your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, thank you, Rob. Good energy to you. We appreciate it. And everyone out there, gosh darn it, keep an open mind.
It's our last goodbye. Young hearts will stop. Torn souls set free. All that we have is now. If this is what you want, then come to me.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. And hey! Let's be careful out there.
Far over the snow, what are those voices? They sing and they go. What are those voices? Look over the mountain. Because somebody hide, somebody better hide. On through the horse on the trail. We are after you, dead or alive. We are out to get you, dead or alive. And forget your soul. If you're the one, better run away. Son, you are done. Throw your gun away. Here come the Mounties to get the man that after now. Run through the hail like a flash of angry balls on the trail. Dead or alive, we are out to get you, dead or alive. If you're the one, better run away. Son, you are done. Throw your gun away. Here come the Mounties to get the man they're after. No!
I see dead people.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Dave's not here!
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection.